Hello friends, in this session I'll be discussing on the instructional strategies for children with dyslexia. Now, every teacher aims to create an atmosphere in which all learners may reach their full potential. Educators must prepare and teach intentionally to ensure that children with learning disabilities feel at ease in their classroom. About 80% of students with learning disabilities have disabilities in reading, problems in learning to decode words, basic word recognition skills, or reading comprehension. Now, oral language intervention strategies, which includes listening to a paragraph, dramatizing, then read a paragraph, tell children to listen carefully that paragraph and have students act it out accordingly. So these are some intervention strategies for oral language development. Then you can teach new vocabulary using a multisensory approach, like you can use graphic organizers, picture, movie, demonstration, modeling. Then gradually increase the multi-step direction so that they can understand that direction. Then involve students in simulation, also using role plays and drama to improve their oral language skills. Then we can discuss on receptive language strategies. When providing information, use visuals such as picture, chart, timelines, graphic organizer as I already mentioned, then webs, calendars, demonstrations, examples. Keep instructions concise and emphasize key information. Pre-teach new vocabulary, that is another intervention strategy. Then link new content to prior knowledge. As we can say, I just remind you that in teaching principles, we are using the principle of known to unknown. So based on that principle, this strategy is very effective, like link new content to their prior knowledge. Then expressive language skills, that is when child makes a grammatical error, restate that information using correct structure. Use higher order thinking questions like explain it, describe this, then evaluate, compare. This kind of practice may be given to the child for improving their comprehension skills. Then engage in storytelling, make scrapbook of events, favorite things or collection. So we can encourage the child to prepare a scrapbook where they can write any interesting events, their favorite things, etc. Now, it's very important to give them opportunity for phonological awareness. Kids in pre-primary and kindergarten can play with words, rhymes and syllables they hear in everyday speech to prepare for their reading skills. This is called as phonological awareness. Parents and caregivers can introduce phonological awareness during reading, singing or playing activities. Phonemic awareness or phonological awareness, that abilities in kindergarten or in that age range, that pre-primary level, appears to be the best single predictor. I am repeating these words, that is, appear to be the best single predictor of successful reading acquisition. So, we as a teacher or we as a parent, we have to start at very early age of the child. After diagnosis, we have to start with their phonological awareness skill. We have to improve those skills first. Now, I'll be discussing on some instructional strategies on phonological awareness. So, which are like teach high frequency word. High frequency word means which word? These words are often confused with high frequency word. Like a word is considered to be high frequency if the word is commonly used in daily speech, such as the. In our daily speech, we use this word. So, these are known as high frequency word and we should teach children at the early age. Then there is teach them pattern using onset and rhyme, also known as word familiars. Rhyme, R-I-M-E, this is not rhymes. So, what does it mean? That the string of letters that follow the onset which contains the vowel and any consonant. As for example, I can say that the word cat, where starting letter, that is C, which is the onset, and A-T, that is the rhyme. So, this kind of words can be teach at the early level. Now, teach chunking longer words into more manageable chunk. Longer words like butterfly. How we used to teach them? Butter, then fly. Recreation. How will we teach them? We can manageable chunks, small chunks. We can break the word in a smaller chunk, like create iron. So, then we can say that recreation. Then telephone. How to manage this kind of words? By making them smaller chunk word. So, in telephone also we can say telephone, for E. So, that way we can teach them. Then there is another very important area to teach prefixes, suffixes and root words. So, what are those root words? Like write, W-R-I-T-E. If we consider write as a root word, then in prefix we can add re, so the word comes rewrite. Similarly, if we add able, writable, with the root words we add suffix, so it becomes writable. So, this kind of words can be taught and can be practiced more often to make the child fluent in their spelling and pronunciation. So, keep instruction in context also. Beyond phonics, there are key intervention strategies, other intervention strategies. I like to share with you all that do not necessarily isolate students from one another by sorting them into leveled group. Like PALS, P-A-L-S, PALS, that is one of the intervention strategy. What is it? Peer assisted learning strategies exercises pair strong and weak readers. Pairing of strong and weak readers who take turns reading, rereading and retailing. Peer assisted learning strategies, or in short we are saying it as PALS. It's a peer tutoring program for the entire class. Teachers carefully match students with classmates. The team collaborates on a variety of activities that satisfy both students' academic requirements. Pair evolve throughout the time. Paul's activities link strong and poor readers who take turns reading, rereading and repeating. Then the next strategy I'll be discussing on is known as teacher read aloud. What is this activity? This activity says that perhaps one of the most effective method for improving student fluency and comprehension, as the teacher is the expert in reading the text and models how a skilled reader reads, using appropriate pacing and prosody. So, playing an audiobook also achieve the similar results. So, here teacher play or act as a model how to read properly. So, that is what teacher read aloud intervention strategy says. Now, there is another strategy known as shared reading or modeling. What is this? By reading aloud while students follow along in their own books, the instructor or the teacher models fluency, pausing occasionally to demonstrate comprehension strategies. Then there is another very useful intervention strategy known as the crazy professor reading game. So, what is that crazy professor reading game? The crazy professor it's a more complex version of the, we can say, buddy reading or peer techniques, peer tutoring or buddy reading techniques. So, students break into groups and take turns reading phrases in buddy reading. So, if suppose a student named Ahmed who reads one line, then Sarah reads the next line. Sarah is the another student who reads the next line, and so on so forth. So, the crazy professor, as just discussing, it takes this beneficial pattern a step further, constructing higher and deeper level of knowledge. So, in a dramatized version of the text, it can be played crazy professor and eager learner. One can be played as a crazy professor, another can be an eager learner. Now, the next is known as the intervention technique that is known as FORI, F-O-R-I, which stands for Fluency Oriented Reading Instruction, which is in short known as FORI. Primary students read the same section of a text many times over the course of a week. So, the steps involved in this technique is the teacher reads aloud while students follow along their book, then students echo read after that, then students choral read and students partner read. So, that way the FORI can be implemented. So, the text is taken home if more practice is needed by that child. Now, as I have already discussed some of the intervention techniques, so few more additional teaching learning strategies I want to share with you all. So, which includes provide high structure and clear expectation. Like children who are learning disability tend to have difficulty focusing, getting started and setting priorities. So, creating a clear structured program allows the student to be exposed to fewer distraction and possible avoidance and allow for greater focus on work related tasks. Then there is allow flexibility in classroom procedure. So, allowing the use of tape recorder for note taking can be a flexible approach in classroom procedure. Then there is learning materials that should easily accessible, well organized and stored in the same place each day. Then another strategy, like all assignment, what we are giving them should be presented on a maybe on a blackboard. In nowadays we can send them through different media, and also can be orally presented. Then make sure that the child desk should be free from any unnecessary materials to avoid any kind of distraction in the classroom, even in the home environment also. Next is correct the student's work as soon as possible. Then try to separate him from students who may be distracting. If we know that in a classroom there are many children and they differ from each other, so we have to try to separate that child with dyslexia from other students who are distracting. Then use multisensory teaching methods wherever possible. By using visual, auditory, kinesthetic or tactile input together, it's highly recommended for children with learning disabilities or children with dyslexia. Then respond to the child's comment, praising wherever possible. So we need to give them immediate feedback. We respond to their responses immediately as a teacher to keep them motivated towards learning. Give constant feedback, as I already mentioned that. Now, see, for the vocabulary development also, what kind of strategies we can use? Like we use materials above students' reading level. Then we can elaborate on reading fluency when we are concentrating on how to develop reading fluency in children. So, reading fluency, it's the ability to read text quickly and accurately with appropriate expression. So, fluent readers do not have to sound out each word. Proficient readers are fluent readers, but on the other hand, fluent readers may not be proficient readers. So, for fluency, we have some instructional strategies like review high frequency word. Then there is another strategy like repeated reading. Reading can be repeated, have students reread passages that are at an independent reading level. Then there is another technique like reread passages until predetermined goal is achieved and record reading time and number of words also. Now, role of the school. Role of the school is very important. Schools are those which value each child as an individual. Meeting the needs of every learner is the key purpose of any educational organization. So, role of the schools can include, they should provide a non-threatening environment, closely monitored progress of the child. There should be flexible evaluation system, then flexible curriculum and constant communication with the parents of the child with special needs or parent of a child with dyslexia, as I was discussing on dyslexia only. So, with this, I came to the end of my session. Thank you and Namaskar.